is a how-to on the Tier 6 United States battleship, the New Mexico. For those of you who have never played the New Mexico, I think you're going to like it. At long range, the dispersion of the guns makes it a little difficult to do damage, but once you get in close, you can just rip people apart with this ship. And the New Mexico is very heavily armored. So you can take a lot of hits in this ship. So here we are. We've got 3 caps, and I go ahead and tell everybody that basically that looks like an A and a B game that we're going to go for. We've only got 1 ship over by sea. Let's go ahead and zoom forward in the video. You can see she's got 2 turrets forward and 2 turrets aft, each turret with 3 guns. And they're fairly good sized guns. Reload time is about half a minute. I've done some buffing to this ship, but after this battle, we'll go back into the port and I'll show you the buffs that I've made and the upgrades. Now she is a slow ship, stock. She'll only do maybe 18 knots, which is pretty lousy. So I have upgraded the engines, and she'll do, I believe, 21.1 now, which is still not all that great for a Tier 6, but, well, it is what it is. It's enough to push in, and that's really what you need. I let my team know that I am experimenting with the ship. And usually what I do with a battleship is I'll hang back a bit, and I will lend support fire. Not this time. This ship is got so much armor, I just had to throw her into the middle of things and just push in hard, knowing full well that the enemy was just going to use me as a target. And that suits me fine. I wanted to see how the ship would do. We've got AP loaded, and that's fine. I'm going to send 1 salvo down range to see how my aim is, what kind of changes I need to make. You can already tell I was shy, so I raised my gun turrets and let fly. Landed 3 hits, and 2 of them bounced out and 1 of them didn't do anything. Now you can see by the mini-map there's quite a few enemies off to my right, 5 of them, and they're pretty much going to be all looking at me. So I am going to take significant damage in this game. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a lot of enemies out here. Now I'm at 10 kilometers, and you can see the dispersion is kind of taking away from the accuracy. And I've got several ships firing at me now. One more salvo out to make sure I've got my range good, and I do. And I'm bouncing back between having my nose pointed at the enemy and turning a little bit broadside so I can bring all my guns to bear. And you can see I'm doing, 7,600 and 8,000 damage now that I'm closer. We're only at 7 kilometers now. And I am definitely tunnel visioning. I didn't know that there's an island right in front of me. And you can see I've also taken quite a bit of damage. I've lost about 20%. Not good. Right about here is where, look at that grouping. Kersplat. Only did 4,200, but that was just 1 salvo. 8,200. You can see once you push into about 7 kilometers, all of a sudden the New Mexico can lay in the hurt real good. You can see from the mini-map how close I am to a lot of enemies. Whoops, I was tunnel visioning. Gotta watch out for that island. So, I did in total about 7,500 damage in that last shot. This guy's almost gone. And my secondaries are within range now. 2 shots hit and I did 4,500 damage. This ship, once you get close in the New Mexico, oh yeah, you're gonna do damage. And you can see I'm taking a lot of hits, but I'm taking hits from 5 enemies. Not 1, not 2, 5. Okay, he's gone. Now I've got to focus on somebody else. Well, this guy is only about 3 kilometers from me, so I know I'm in his kill zone. But there's that cruiser over there that's able to do a lot more damage, so I think I'm going to focus on him. Bad day to be a cruiser going up against me. 1 shot. Ooh, Citadel. Took out half his health. 1 shot. Oh, I like that. Okay, here we go. Boom! He's gone. Oh, hey, I got a destroyer over here on bare minimum health. But you see the rate of fire that the destroyer is throwing at me. He's going to actually mess me up. So I'm going to have to hurt him. I know I have the wrong type of ammunition loaded. I should have high explosive, but I don't have time to change. And yes, I do send out a message to my teammates. Help! Help! Alright. Took him out. So that leaves 3 down, 2 to go. And I am burning. I also realized that I was capping B, but I sailed out of it. Now we have to start all over. Capping B, that was my bad. So this guy is sailing in to 2 battleships, and then I'm going to take him on at range. And there's another battleship over at G9 headed west, so he's moving in. And the rest of our team is over at A. Don't know what they're doing. They've been there a while. Looks like they sunk 2 enemies, maybe 3. Well, that was enough to keep them busy. Alright, so there's basically no one I can shoot at for a while. I can't press the letter T. There's still a minute to go before I can start replenishing some lost hit points. So let me zoom ahead in the video a bit. So I did incapacitate a gun. I don't know how much damage I did there. But I am not going to get another shot off at this guy before he ducks behind that island. So I'm going to zip ahead a bit. And I'm going to rotate my guns around. Move ahead a bit in the video. And I'm getting ready to shoot him again. You can see by now that the New Mexico, you can be really aggressive with this ship. 3,800 damage, 1 more salvo, he's gone. He isn't even looking at me. Boom! Alright. You can see how aggressive you can be in the New Mexico. It's just got a lot of hit points. And at close range, her dispersion is so small that she can lay a lot of fire in on the enemy. That makes her newbie friendly. Took top score, yeah! detailed report. I am going to kind of flash through these. You can pause the video and go over the numbers to see how they really do pan out. Potential damage 1,640,000. That's a lot of damage I missed. And credits, you can see this ship is a moneymaker. 116,927 silver take home. Oh, that's nice. 1,298 experience. So let's get into why this ship is so good at absorbing damage. It's because she's got a metric ton of armor around her. So we'll bring up the armor, and I'm going to filter out the various layers. Look at her citadel. There's hardly any of it exposed. Hardly any. And what they do have is pretty well armored. 115, 51, 70. But there's going to be more. Oh, there's going to be more. Her guns are very heavily armored. It's going to be tough for those guns to be busted. On top of her citadel, she's got that armor belt, 343 and 140. On top of that, she's got an additional 25 plating. On top of that, she's got an additional 16. And then wrapped around is another torpedo bulge of 25. This ship is armed and armored. Let's take a look at her hit points. 53,200. Torpedo protection damage, 42%. I'm going to pause this real quick. Alright. Reload time is 34.2 seconds. It's not that good. 180 degree turret rotation time is 48.6 seconds. It's not that good. Maximum dispersion at full range, 233 meters. It's not that good. But you get in close, and that dispersion drops way down, and you can just start pouring in the shells. Her high explosive damage only does 5,000 on a good hit, but it's got a 30% chance of starting a fire per shell, which is very good. You need to think about that, because there are going to be times when you're going to want to use that high explosive and burn somebody down. Or use the AP, which you can see is 10,500 damage on a good hit. That's incredible. Firing range is 17.3. That's not stock. Stock, it's a lot worse, but I've got her buffed up so she has more range. And you can see her shells are actually quite slow. Most battleships run 940 meters per second. This thing is around 823, 860. Her secondary armament has got a 4.2 kilometer range and only high explosive, but each shell has a 9% chance of starting a fire, which really isn't half bad. And look at that shell velocity, real slow. She has a different set of secondary armaments, which is much faster, 960 meters per second, really a screaming fast shell, and does 1,800 damage, high explosive, 4.2 kilometer range. So she's got a variety of secondaries, and that's fine. Now her AA is pretty impressive. Look at all that. She's got 4.2 kilometer range on her 127 millimeters, 3.5 kilometer range on her Bofors Mark 1, 3.5 kilometer range on her Bofors Mark 3, and then she's also got some 20 millimeter guns with a 2 kilometer range, two different varieties, one doing a bit more damage than the other. Her maneuverability, 21 knots, Once again, that's buffed. And her rudder shift time, I believe that's buffed as well. Because most battleships do not have a rudder shift time anywhere near that. The concealment by sea is 14.2 with a gun range of 17.3. But the moment you fire those guns, you better expect you're going to be spotted at 23 kilometers. Air detectability is about the same. So let's take a look at the modules here. I did throw on a couple of upgrades. I threw on the steering gears, so that's why her rudder shift is so good. I decided to go with that because I believe the rudder shift was something like, double that. It was just awful. Maybe not double, but it was awful. For the second upgrade, it was pretty much a no-brainer. The odds of you losing your propulsion or your steering in a battleship is like, I think I've only seen it once, and I've got 2,500 battles. Battleships just don't get their propulsion or their steering gears messed up very often. You have to be hit with a torpedo on the propeller or on the rudder for that to be taken out. So most people just go with damage control mod 1. Next upgrade I went with is the artillery plotting room. You can set it up the way you want, but I went with that one because I wanted the extra range. And I wanted my secondaries to have better range. This is an offensive setup rather than a defensive one. If you had chosen main battery modification 2, you can get that turret rotation up a lot. And then this one for me was pretty much a no-brainer. Main armaments mod 1. Then we go with our engine. We went with the upgraded engine, 21 knots. The stock engine is 18.5. So you'd be well advised. Go for a better engine. The fire gun control system. You can see that the main battery range is only 15.8 without it. But it's 17.3 with it. That's a 10% increase. Now the hull, I'm at hull C, but if you go with hull A, big change. You lose quite a few hit points. You lose a lot of AA. A lot of it. That's why I forked out the bucks and wound up buying hull C. I wanted a lot of AA. Hull B is, well, somewhere in the middle. You gain some things, you lose some things. But the hull C is really, if you're going to hold on to the New Mexico, you definitely want to go with hull C. Now with captain skills, you can outfit the ship in any way that suits your particular play style. I went with ship survivability, and I went with firefighting, and I went with turret rotation. Gives a little bit. And then, of course, high alert. I haven't figured out where I'm going to go once I get a couple more points. The New Mexico is a really fun ship in that you can play it so many different ways. If you want to hang out in the backfield and just lob shells, you can do it. If you want to push in hard, you can do it. If you want to play it like a destroyer, hide behind an island and pop out, you could do it. It'd be a little slow, but yeah, you can do it. It's just a ship that gives the player an awful lot of variety. There's just so much you can do with it. It's a ship that most players, once you get this ship, you're not going to get rid of it. It's just too much fun. Anyway, that's it. Hey, thank you for listening, watching. Stay safe and have fun.